check it out. So this is my RM850, right? This is the new power supply. Motherboard cable, which is this combined thing. Over here, simply plugged into the slot, fully clicked. I do have an 8-pin CPU connector, so I got the one labeled CPU, and then that's going back right here. It's plugged into the third slot of the CPU/PCIe section. That's this guy right here, so that's my CPU. And then there's two others right here, and they're just these PCIe 6+2. There's one here, and there's also one there, because my new graphics card needs that one, but this just needs this one. So motherboard, CPU, graphics card, HDMI into my monitor. This is just like the minimum, and this is just plugged in the wall over there. So turn it on, and we will jump the power pins. So everything turns on, right? Power supply fan is spinning. I just heard a click for a relay. My RAM light comes on. Power supply stops spinning. These keep going. When it was in the case, all of the RGB in the fans went as well. They were spinning. Graphics card light is on, but the fans slow down first. There's been no output on here, no change, still no signal, and then the graphics card fans stop. I'll let it sit like this. I've let it sit like this for 5-10 minutes and nothing happens. I did reseat my RAM. I do have a second RAM stick that I've tried in here as well, just in the A2 slot, but it doesn't post. Now, let me show you something else. So this is the exact same bench setup, same slot, HDMI, same port. I just have my old power supply here. This is the 550. That's the new 850 that I'm having problems with. So just a PCIe cable here is the only extension, and then the other two are the motherboard and 8-pin CPU connectors. And with this, if I turn the power supply on and I jump the pins, everything turns to life, including power supply and graphics card fans. RAM light comes on. And it's not a quick computer, but if we give it a minute here. Boom, we get a post. So again, this is just, and it boots into Windows. So this is literally just a PCIe connector, a CPU, and a motherboard. That's all that I have plugged into this right now. Graphics card fans turn off. Power supply fan does stay on though. And it posts, it works fine. Now, sanity check, just in case I'm gonna swap back over to this power supply, but we have, oops, I guess I should spin around so you can see. We have these connections, so motherboard top right there, and then all of these CPU/PCIe ones. It doesn't specify which one is which or if it matters, but so I just plug it in wherever. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my motherboard cable, which is the 24-pin good guy with this on the other end. It's like an 8-pin, 8-pin plus like whatever this guy is. So these are going to go in here. Push this in. Maybe you can hear the click, maybe not. There it was. So that guy's fully seated, latches all the way down. I'm going to do this guy in there next. definitely heard that one. So there's those two connected. That goes down into this motherboard. Now the other thing that we're going to need is an 8-pin CPU connector, which is this guy. It says CPU on it. So this end goes into the motherboard. The other end here is one of these Type 4. And they fit in the CPU/PCIe section. So I'm just going to plug this guy in right there. Bam, locked in, latch is down, you probably heard the click. So now we have CPU connector. And then the one other thing we're gonna need is a PCIe 6+2 for our graphics card, because this doesn't have integrated graphics, which this cable right here, it is a 6+2 PCIe, and then it goes to a Type 4. So CPU/PCIe, we're just gonna plug it in right there. Okay, so now we got our wires. Now this motherboard cable can come up. The latch is on that bottom side there, which means it connects to my motherboard this way. I'm gonna click that in like that. That is good and seated. Let me see if I can get the latch. Picture the latch. Video of the latch. Yeah, good enough. Latch is seated. It clicked. Then we're gonna take this first one here. Focus. Take this first one here. This is our CPU connector. CPU is gonna come all the way up here into our CPU socket. Make sure, okay, they're all frowny. They curve downwards. Click that joint in. So that's connected. And then finally, our graphics card 2+6 is gonna go in here. Bam. I'm just gonna do one. Make sure my graphics card is seated properly, because this is a little sketchy. And then we should be good to go, right? This is literally the exact same cables that were plugged into the old power supply. We get power in here. So now, I'm gonna flip on our power supply. We're going to jump the start pins. Everything turns on, including the power supply fan momentarily there. There was just a relay click in here. Power supply fan is going to stop. Everything else keeps running though, sort of like the other post test. Graphics card light and fans are on. It is properly seated. It's even. All the connections are made inside of that PCIe slot. Graphics card fan stop spinning. Power supply fan has been off. Graphics card fan stop spinning. No post output, not even a signal, not just black, not even a signal. And is cooked. So let me know if you know anything about this, or if you recognize a problem. I know that this isn't the safest thing to be doing for my electronics, but I'm at a loss for what to do now. I have tried this slot right here. This does not post either. I've tried a known working graphics card in this top slot, and that does not post either, which makes me think that this is not the right cable for the CPU or something like that. I'm not really sure.